Hello, everyone, and welcome to Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and I've got with me today Joel Zeff. And Joel is a national keynote speaker. He is a humorist, very funny guy, very energetic person, author of 2 books. And the last thing I want to talk about, he's an iced tea aficionado. We're going to have to talk about that. But Joel, welcome to the program. Great to have you on Language of Leadership.
Thank you, Mark. You want to just start with the iced tea?
Yeah, let's do it, man. What's an iced tea aficionado?
I love my iced tea. I live for it. One of the happiest moments of my life is when we're at a restaurant
Yeah.
and the server brings a fresh iced tea without me asking, not a refill of the glass I just had, but just brings a fresh iced tea. Doesn't say anything, just sets it down. That right there, that's one of the greatest moments of my life, right there.
I love it. Now, is this unsweetened iced tea, raspberry flavored iced tea?
Yeah,
What's going on?
I will do a spit take if it's sweet tea. This is an imitation. A sweet tea I drink, and because I think it's unsweet and it's sweet and it's a spit take. Awful, awful. I love a nice flavored tea. I know every restaurant near me that serves great iced tea. If we go to a restaurant and it's bad iced tea, you've lost my business.
Now, listen, I like iced tea too. I like unsweetened iced tea with a lemon in it. And
yeah.
And when it's overdone, like it's over steeped and you taste that like really bitter like iced tea, it's no good, is it? You gotta send that back.
I mean, and I have seen, like, if you order iced tea at Starbucks, you have to say no water.
No water.
That's a secret. Only iced tea aficionados know that.
Okay.
No water.
I got it.
Give me the brewed tea. Boom.
So I swear I've been doing shows for the last 8 years. I've never met an iced tea aficionado, but I love it. It's great. And I love talking about iced tea. I love iced tea too, man. I'm not an aficionado.
We could just spend the whole hour talking about iced tea. Or things that I like.
Yeah.
Just things that I enjoy.
Things that you enjoy. So listen, you've had an amazing career, and you continue to have an amazing career. But
I'm not retiring. Is this the end?
I'd love for you to take us through the journey. I mean, it's a pretty cool journey working for some pretty big agencies in your life. Edelman and J. Walter Thompson and. What's that?
I wish there was a plan, that I had this plan all planned out, and there was no plan. Yeah, right. I started as a journalist. I was a newspaper reporter. That's as far as the planning. That's as far as the planning got.
Wow, okay.
I got my degree in journalism. I worked for several papers as an intern. I was very focused on being a journalist, telling people stories. I really, truly believe that every person has a story, and sometimes they don't know they have that story. And as a journalist, it's your job to find that story and share it. And I loved it. I loved being a journalist.
Yeah.
And I was working at a newspaper in Dallas. It went out of business.
Wow.
So basically, I joined the Titanic right as it was leaving the dock.
Good timing.
One more. I go, hang on, I got my luggage. Very soon after I joined the paper, I was very aware I was on the Titanic.
Yeah.
I was completely aware we were hitting an iceberg. Didn't know when. Didn't know if it was going to be in a year or a couple years, next week, just knew. And so when the paper closed, I freelanced for a little bit, and then I joined a PR agency, Edelman, and then J. Walter Thompson recruited me out of Edelman. And at the same time, I was doing improv comedy. When I lost my job, I had a lot of free time, Mark, and a severance check. And all great origin stories start with, go do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And so I had these 2 worlds, this comedy stand-up and then improv world, and this very corporate PR world. And I realized the skills of both were very similar. And one of my PR clients was Texas Instruments, and they were having a retreat, and they said, hey, we know you do improv on the weekends. Can you come and do some improv games with us before our meeting? And it was the audience, small audience, all men, all VP level, technology, engineers mostly.
Sure.
So not the greatest audience you could put together
right, exactly.
in a room,
yeah.
Mark. And they had fun and I had fun. And that's when the light bulb started flickering and my path toward being a keynote speaker started.
So tell me a little bit about, I have another friend, a fella that I've interviewed with and on his show, and then I've had Mark as well. His name is Mark J. Carter. And Mark started out as an improv guy, and he does some keynotes as well. What exactly is improv, and what was, how did that prepare you for doing what you do now, Joel?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. The first weekend when I moved to Dallas, some friends took me to a show, and it was like the movies where the main character, something happens to the main character, and the music goes,
Yeah.
and the lighting changes a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my moment. I was in love immediately. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I don't know what I need to do, but I want to do that. And for those that have never seen an improv show, there's no script, there's no rehearsal, there's no plan. Everything's happening right there in the moment. And improv started in the late 30s, early 40s. A woman named Viola Spolin created improv at NYU to teach her acting students.
Okay.
She thought if you play, you would be your authentic self. You would take away some of the barriers, some of the fears, and you would just play. And it was a better way to learn. And so I still use improv just as Viola intended, as a learning tool.
Yeah.
To talk about how we find success during change and disruption, how we help each other in being a great teammate, how we need to be more present in the moment, staying in the game, creating opportunity for each other, being supportive. All these key messages, these foundation messages that improv taught me, I share with the groups that I speak when I'm a keynote, and certainly in my new book, Make the Right Choice. And it's all about my love for improv, what improv taught me, and sharing that with the audience.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it really is, because it gives people a kind of a different approach to how to work together more, you say more authentically, but just becoming themselves, Joel, that they're not putting on airs and trying to kind of mask their personalities, just really being them, so that their teammates can work more closely and more collaboratively together. So I've watched a number of your YouTube videos and some of the cool stuff on joelzeff.com. Take us through a couple of examples of gathering people together, and then you call people up on the stage, and take us through that, because it's a lot of fun. I mean, it really is. People enjoy themselves. They're having a great time. They break down a lot of barriers and so on. So take us through that process, if you will.
Right. And so I create energy. And what events need more than anything is energy and fun.
Yeah.
People need to be entertained. They need to have that moment, that energizing moment. And it engages the audience. They're more open to the message. More importantly, they're going to retain the message. So one of the improv games I play is a game called Road Trip. And I use these games just as a tool to get to the message. They're my vehicle to get to the message. Instead of PowerPoint or acronyms, that are people, power, opportunity.
Yeah.
I use improv. And because I can't play the guitar or I can't juggle.
Right.
So I use improv.
Right.
And so one game is Road Trip. I bring 3 audience volunteers to the stage. We assign emotions: angry, sad, fear, happy.
Okay.
And then one audience volunteer is the driver, and they start, maybe their first emotion is happy. And then they pick up the next 3 performers. First, it's me, and maybe I bring in fear. Now both of us become fear. The next volunteer comes in, they bring in sad. All 3 of us are sad. The next one comes in, we're all angry. And then as angry leaves the car, we're back to the last emotion. So now we're all sad. Sad leaves, we're back to fear. Fear leaves, we're back to happy. So it sounds hard and difficult, but I really only give these audience volunteers a couple minutes of instruction. What I'm giving them is opportunity to work together as a team, to focus, to listen, because improv is going to force you to make certain choices. It's going to force you to be present and in the moment, and that's when you're at your best. It's going to force you to be supportive, and it's going to force you to care about the rest of your team, to ask the question, how do I help the people around me be successful, answer it, and more importantly, act on it. And so the group is successful. Now, there's a level of creativity, right? I mean, some groups are, just top the charts. And I just sit back and I'm like, amazing. They're just crushing. And some groups are a little tentative. They just need a little more positive support from the audience.
Yep.
And that's a cool thing, because when the audience laughs and applauds, they give that team positive support. What happens? They do more. They take more risks.
Yeah.
They put themselves out there. And then what happens? The audience gives more positive support, and then the volunteers do more. It's an amazing message. And the audience has seen this in real time. After the game, certainly the audience was entertained. They had fun. And then after the game, I point out these choices that the volunteers made. And that's how I make my point. These are the choices that we have to make in our own work cultures, in our own team, to find success, to be fulfilled, to be rewarded, to be great leaders. And they're not difficult choices. And they're just seeing this in real time. And more importantly, they're being entertained.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It sounds like a lot of fun. And I think, like you said, there's different degrees of people getting engaged in what you're doing up on the stage and everything. And it's, I'm sure there's, it's a continuum of people that are really not very energetic, and then people that are incredibly energetic, and, there's everywhere in between. But as they walk away from this, right? So they had a great time, and everybody's applauding Joel Zeff, and everyone loves Joel. And now they walk away, right?
Yes.
And they leave. And about an hour later, they probably forget half the stuff they learned, or maybe 2 days later, they forget everything they learned. What's the takeaway? What are you giving them to help them make those decisions and work more collaboratively together as a team? Those tools that they can use, Joel, that help them down the road.
Well, I don't think they do forget, because what's happening is they're laughing in a very unique situation.
Yeah.
So the improv game is a unique situation. They're seeing their peers, their managers, their colleagues play this improv game.
Yep.
And so they're going to attach this memory to this moment. And part of that memory is the message that I'm sharing. Create an opportunity and positive support, how important that is to our foundation for our success, how important it is to ask the question, how do I help the people around me be successful? And answer that question and act on it. The foundation message of how we deal with change, being prepared for change, being open and flexible to change, how important it is to be more present and in the moment.
Yeah.
In how we stay in the game and don't give up. All these are key messages. And what's happening is we're going to play a game. The audience is going to laugh. And it's just like a great song. And when you have when you hear a great song, you put a memory with that song.
Yep.
Right? That's how, somehow you hear a certain song, you've got a memory with it. And so when you laugh and you're entertained, you're going to put that memory together. You're going to remember those moments. Yeah. And that's when the audience is truly engaged, and they're going to retain that message. And so by putting this unique, funny, entertaining memory with the message, I think there's going to be more carry for these messages. They're going to go back to work. And what I love, when I first start my keynotes, the whole audience, we all stand up and we do a ta-da. Like when your kids are small and they do something great and you're like, ta-da!
Yeah.
You did it, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
You ate the whole sandwich. Ta-da!
Yeah.
And so we do this as a group. And throughout, if I'm at the conference for several days, people are doing ta-da all day, everywhere. I come out of the bathroom, ta-da.
Oh,
I
wow.
was at a conference last week, and the client took the group to Universal Studios. By the way, you're at a great conference when everybody goes to Universal Studios. Just a hint.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're walking through the park. I can't even tell you how many people came up to me and were like, ta-da!
Oh, that's cool.
And they just kept walking.
Yeah,
right?
That's cool.
And so they do. There is a stickiness to some of these messages when you put them together with fun and engagement and entertainment.
Well, listen, thanks for clarifying that, because I think a lot of times you're 100% right. A lot of times, you walk away from these conferences and without that humor, without that connection, without that fun, without the, in your case, you own Tada, it's funny, it's cool, it's different, it's people remember it from their childhood. So it is much stickier, Joel, and I appreciate you clarifying that, because a lot of times, you do these keynotes, and people walk away and they go, oh, what the hell just happened an hour and a half ago? But I love this stickiness part.
I've seen those speakers too, Mark.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. All right, buddy, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back, folks. Do not go away. We've got more with Joel Zeff after this message from our sponsors.
Thanks for getting these sub bowls.
Of course, no problem, big bro. Let's eat.
Danny DeVito? What did you do with our uncle?
Well, that doesn't matter. This is a commercial for Jersey Mike's. What matters most are these sub bowls.
Wait, has Danny DeVito been my brother my whole life?
I guess so. Don't tell Mom. Your favorite sub, hot or cold in a bowl. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
That we both got an awesome network and saved money doing it.
I know, $25. I love that it's guaranteed for 3 years.
Hey, we're sitting on a sign here.
Switch and get Welcome Unlimited for $25 a line, guaranteed for 3 years. Verizon.
Oh, no signal. I don't have home internet.
Oh, that's a red flag.
Find the bars.
Your mom looks a lot like me.
Yeah, couple of hotties.
Thank you.
Ah, man. There's dead spots all over this place.
There really are. Oh, wow.
Nothing. Are you getting a good signal?
No, I'm not.
It's time for real home internet. Get it on the next generation 10G network, only from
Welcome back to Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Mark Iorio, and I've got Joel Zeff with me today. Joel is a lot of things. He's a keynote speaker. He's an awards banquet MC. He's a humorist, an author, iced tea aficionado, fun guy, just an overall fun guy, I guess. That's what we talk about, fun stuff. So, during the break, we said, yeah, the show's called Language of Leadership. So let's talk about language or leadership or both,
I'm ready.
Yeah. So, all right. So as you go through the fun, engaged, ta-da, moments on stage and everybody's engaged in what you're doing, what are the what are those sticky words that that people leave with besides the word "ta-da"? I mean, that's fun, and walking around Universal Studios and having somebody walk up to you is pretty damn cool. That's got to be pretty cool. But
that's a pretty good day.
It is. That's a hell of a day, and so the idea of leadership and language, Joel, is putting those two things together, and the stickiness of what you do with your programs are just it. It's not just the fun part of the day, it's taking that with them so that they become better leaders. So talk a little bit about that, if you will.
Sure. So great leadership to me is asking a simple question. How do I help the people around me be successful? And we mentioned it a little bit, but what does that mean? In improv, there's no script, there's no plan, there's no rehearsal. So you have a group of performers that have to reach an objective as a team. So when people ask, how does it work? What's happening? Really, one of the foundations of great improv is thinking, how do I help the other performers be successful? Not about, am I funny or am I going to be the best? Am I going to be the star? It's how can I help my team find success? And when we take that to our work lives, it's an easy question. How do I help the people around me be successful? Now, some leaders, what can all of you do for me? That's not great leadership.
Right.
That's a mirage. That is not great teamwork, and that is not great leadership. A great leader is, how do I help everyone around me find success, reach their goals? And they know the answer. They're smart. They know what your colleagues, your peers, your clients, your partners, your vendors, you know what everybody needs to be successful. The hard part is acting on it. Not worrying about what's in it for me. It's about helping that team, helping the people that you're leading. Because what's going to happen is your team is going to be passionate and energized, and that's going to help you reach your goals. Because if they're not happy, if they're not passionate, they're out the door. They're going to go across the street and work for someplace else. And now, whatever resources you spent in recruiting that person, training that person, getting that person up to speed, just walked out the door because you weren't giving them positive support. You weren't giving them opportunity. We mentioned that earlier too. That's what we all desperately want. As leaders, we have to create opportunity and positive support. When you put those two things together, it's amazing what happens. And positive support is very easy. It's just about thinking about the people around you and giving them that positive support. Opportunity is a little bit different. What is that opportunity? Do you want more training? Do you want a mentor? Do you want a different responsibility? Do you want a different role? Do you want to go to a conference? What is it? And as a leader, you talk about the language of leadership. As a leader, you have to communicate to your team. What do you need to be happy and fulfilled? And you're going to be surprised by the answer. And then you have a blueprint. You know what they need to be happy. And it's pretty easy to give them that opportunity. And what's really exciting as leaders is you're going to create this energy. You're going to create this excitement, because nowhere on a job application does it say you have to be passionate about this job. Have you ever seen, are you going to be passionate? You can't expect people, you want people to be passionate, but you can't expect it or demand it. And so how do we get that team to be passionate? They have to care. You don't have passion unless you care about something. So how do you care about something? You have to have ownership. As leaders, that's what you have to create. That's the language, is creating that ownership, and then people start to care. And when they care about something, they're going to have passion. So that is the language of leadership to me.
Totally with you, brother. I'm totally with you. It's amazing to me that we look for people in our business that are heart-centered leaders. I'd love to be able to have a database of people that really care about their team, care about the people that work for them, and that's really what you're finding. And in order for you to be passionate about the work that you're doing and helping people become a better version of themselves, in a sense, is what you're saying, you have to really open yourself to caring about the other person, right? Not just caring about you. And I take it back to your training and your education as a journalist. You know, when you're writing, you know, the words that you use are incredibly impactful to the audience. If leaders, Joel, would just simply take that, you know, that information and address the people that work with them and for them, and use those words effectively so that they're not breaking those folks down, but they're building them up. I think we'd have a greater leadership, you know, swell of I don't know, you know, direction out there. I think we lack leadership because people don't care, and I love what you're doing. I love it.
Well, that positive support, I think, that's the energizer that fuels us.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of leaders forget how important that is. Just saying thank you and I appreciate you. And one of the things I say in my keynote and in my book is when you go home from work, think about all the people that you had contact with. Did you give the people that deserved it positive support? Did you say thank you and I appreciate you?
Sure.
You did a great job.
Yep.
Thank you for stepping up. And you say, well, I forgot. I was really busy. And so you're thinking about all these people on the way home. So tomorrow, tell them thank you. You can text them. You can send them an email. You can call them up. You can write a letter. You can see them in the hall. Doesn't matter. There's no expiration date on a thank you. We want to hear it. It fuels us. And when we have that fuel, we're going to be a better communicator, a better innovator, a better teammate. Everything that we do is going to be better, but we have to have that fuel.
Yeah.
And positive support is part of it. Opportunity is a big part of it too.
Yep.
And I think that's what truly makes us happy. And when I play these improv games, I'm really demonstrating these key messages. I'm giving people opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm giving them positive support. They're getting 3 rounds of applause before they even start the game.
Yeah.
And then the audience is going to give them positive support. And
That's
how
right.
exciting is that? And you see audience volunteers who are tentative, you see them, that confidence, you see their eyes, you see their body language.
Sure.
And all of a sudden they're off to the races. They're incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised every time I speak.
Yeah. That's
And
cool.
somebody comes up to me afterwards and says, wow, Bob, we did not, Bob's never done that at work before. I've never seen Bob. I never thought Bob was going to twirl around like a ballerina.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we just gave them the opportunity. What if at work you gave the opportunity? We don't need Bob to be a ballerina at work, but what we needed Bob to do is to be innovative,
Right.
to be passionate, to be a great communicator, to be a great leader. If we just give him the opportunity and some positive support, all those things will happen.
Yeah, I agree. You know, we're unfortunately come down to the end of the program, but I want to talk a little bit about the books. You've written 2 books. Both books start out with make the right choice. And, you know, there you go. Make the right choice. I love it because I had a friend of mine who would tell their kids every single time they left the house, Joel, make good decisions, make the right choice, make the right choice. And it makes you think as you're going through whatever it might be, whatever the circumstance is, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, make the right choice. What prompted you to write the book? I can't wait to get my hands on it and read the first one.
And we say the same thing. We tell our kids, make good choices.
Yeah.
Is what we'd say.
Yeah.
Make good choices. And hopefully that we've instilled what those good choices are as we've raised them. But we say that all the time, make good choices. Make the right choice. In improv, you're always looking for a choice.
Yep.
Remember, there's no script, there's no plan, there's no rehearsal. So you have choices. Some choices are going to be better than others. We are going to make mistakes. That's part of improv. We want to learn from them. We want to minimize them. We want to overcome them. So we're looking for that right choice, that perfect choice, that magic moment that everything comes together.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens in improv, it's just, you get goosebumps, the hair stands up. You just have this feeling. You're in this magic moment.
Right.
Because we all made the right choice to get to that point, and it's exciting. And so that's why that's the title of the book. And we're always looking for the right choice as leaders, as teammates, as communicators, as innovators. And if we have the right foundation, it's going to be easier to make the right choice.
Yeah.
And so in the book, each chapter, and they're very self-contained. We have a couple chapters on teamwork and communication and finding success during change and disruption and great leadership. All through each chapter, I want it to be fun. I want it to be engaging. I didn't want it to be a textbook. I didn't want it to be a business treatise, that weighs you down with all this, information and data these are simple choices.
Yeah.
And I want these choices to be accessible, and I want the reader to be engaged and to smile a little bit. I tell lots of funny stories. Corporate life is funny.
It is.
Scheduling a conference call is funny. If you, there's so many things around corporate life that is amusing and silly. PowerPoint presentations with upside down triangles or interlocking circles.
Oh God.
Those are
you got to laugh.
And
you
so
have to laugh at
fun
those,
and
right?
engaging, but have great messages. And at the end of each chapter, I give some ideas, some possible call to actions for the reader to help them make the right choice.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I've loved the interview. I think it was terrific. I love the book, Make the Right Choice. Amazon, it's way up there on the bestseller list. I can tell you that. I saw that the other day, which is very, very cool.
Strangely, it recently was number 2 in anthropology.
I saw that.
I don't know why.
I saw that. That was pretty cool. I saw that. That was interesting.
So yeah, you're talking to the number 2 anthropologist according to Amazon.
According to Amazon, yeah. So, Joel, thanks. Really appreciate it. Tell everyone how to get in touch with you. And as you're doing that, just throw in there the type of clients you're looking for with regard to keynotes as well, okay?
Well, I've spoken at 2,500 events.
Wow.
And every type of industry that you could possibly imagine. And some industries you have no idea exists. Yeah. Because I had no idea they existed when they call me. And, some associations that you're like, really? That's an association. Fantastic. I know a little about a lot of industries, and it's awesome to see all the different work cultures, to learn about these different industries, to meet all these incredible people. And it's really inspiring and energizing because usually I'm hired by companies that are passionate about what they do. The bad companies, and there are many, usually don't bring me in. And so it's very energizing, exciting. And I've worked with lots of big companies like Walmart and McDonald's and Samsung and T-Mobile and KPMG and middle-sized companies and small startups. And it's exciting and energizing to meet different people and what they're passionate about. Very easy to get a hold of me. Just my name is my website, joelzeff.com, JOELZEFF.com. That's the best way. And there's links to the book and links to videos and everything you could possibly want.
Cool.
So I appreciate the opportunity, Mark. Really do.
You're welcome, Joel.
And it's very exciting to be on your show.
You're welcome, Joel. Ta-da.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Ta-da! Joel, thanks, man. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Folks, thanks so much for joining us on Language of Leadership. Check Joel out. He is cool as hell. Joel Zeff, JOELZEFF.com. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week, everyone.